Autistic children are typically very rigid thinkers with strong preferences for the same toys, the same clothes, the same food, and perhaps the same TV programs. But that rigid thinking doesn't stop in childhood. It tends to carry on through to adulthood. So I had a young man who was coming to see me for a clinic appointment recently, and on the way he got stuck in traffic. When he didn't arrive, I called ahead, but there was no answer. And so after about half an hour I left the building. Sometime later I got a call from the receptionist saying that he had arrived and he was very stressed. What had happened was he had plan A, which was to come and see me for an appointment, but when a problem arose he could not come up with plan B. Now, he wasn't an unintelligent man. He was at university studying for a degree, but he lacked the flexible thinking skills required to solve that problem. So it's really important that we help young children to develop those flexible thinking skills, because they're going to need them throughout their lives. And in the next few minutes, I'd like to tell you about one of the ways that you can do that. I'm Linda Phillips, speech and language therapist and founder of Parenting Autism, where we teach parents of young autistic children key skills to help improve communication and social interaction skills. Before I go on to talk about flexibility, I would like to mention that the rigid behaviors that we see in autistic children often have a very important purpose for the child. So they can be a way of self-soothing or calming the child when they are feeling a little bit stressed. They also give the child a sense of order and control and predictability, which is important, and they can also be a vehicle for learning. So a child might use their special interest to learn a new skill. So we are not talking about stopping the rigid behaviors. What we are talking about is increasing flexibility where it is needed. One of the situations that often springs up for children is transitions. Having to move from one situation to another requires quite a lot of mental gymnastics, because you have to stop what you are doing and you have to switch onto something completely different, which requires a whole new set of thought patterns. So enabling children to manage these situations is very helpful. And how can you do that? Well, 3 ways you can do that. Number 1, tell your child that there is a change coming. But instead of 5 minutes and then we're going home, what you want to do is you want to make the language very clear to your child. So if you were at the park, you might say something like, 5 more pushes on the swing and then we are going to leave. So it's very obvious to your child what is going to happen. The second thing is you can show your child that there is a change coming. So you might use a now next board, which is simply a board that has 2 visuals on it, and the first one is what you are doing right now and the second one is what is coming up next. So you might have a visual of the park and a visual of home. You would say, now it's time for the park, next it's time for home. So it gives your child a chance to mentally prepare for what is coming up next. The other way that you can show them is to use a sand timer. So you might say, when this is finished, then we are going to go home. And they can see the sand moving through the sand timer. So it's a very clear visual of what is going to happen next for them. And the third thing that you can do is to use sound. So you might have a music track that goes with tidy up time, a separate music track that goes when it's time for bath time, and you could have a bell, for example, that signals meal times. And what happens is the child gets used to hearing those sounds and the brain gets used to the idea there is a change coming, and the sound helps them to make that transition more smoothly. So 3 ways that you can help your child to navigate transitions as they happen throughout the day and help them to do it more effectively. Tell your child, show your child, and use sound to indicate that there's a transition coming up. Thank you for watching this video. Now please would you tell me in the comments something that you do to help your child with transitions, and if you found the video useful, would you do me a favor? would you share it on your social media so that other parents can hear this message? And to thank you for doing so, I'd like to give you a free gift to help you with your child's communication. You can claim your free gift at www.parentingautismcoach.com.